My name is Rachel Sybra and I'm a senior here at Grand Valley. It was my freshman year. I heard about the whale going on my tour of Grand Valley. We passed by the radio station and I'd kind of talked about being in radio in high school, kind of, because I was interested in it. And then we passed the radio station and it was just like, all right, I'm gonna do that for sure. And then I just went to one of the meetings, was super hooked on it as soon as I got there, and now we're here. So I actually used to have 2 shows prior to the one I have now. My freshman through junior year, I had a show called Hey Listen, which was about video games, TV shows, movies, all this kind of dorky stuff. We did like comic, pop culture quizzes and stuff. And then I had a solo show called Open Space where I talked about like science news, space facts, stuff like that. And then currently I have a show called The Weather Channel, which is typically a 2-hour-long show with my co-host Kevin, and we have different themed music every week, and then we do the weather right smack dab in the middle of those 2 hours, and it's super fun. We talk about basically whatever we want to. This is where the magic happens. This is our studio space. This is going to be kind of your control panel right here. So this is where you would sit if you have a solo show or whoever kind of runs a 2-person or 3-person show. So they would sit here and they would control all of the music, or if you're playing music from an outside device. And then this is where your 2 other co-hosts would sit, or if you have guests on your show. So we have lots of space in here for people, which is awesome. And then back here is our... So the whale, radio kind of started out as a hobby. It's a good creative outlet because there isn't really restrictions to college radio. You can have any themed show that you want, and I think that's really cool and important for students to know and like have the outlet. And then it kind of spiraled into a career path. I got more invested in it and more interested in it. So then I ended up having a lot of experience and connections to jobs outside in radio. So now I work at a big radio company, which wasn't really the plan, but now it is, which is super cool. So we help out student life with Campus Life Night, so we'll DJ stuff for that, we'll give away free CDs. And then we also do a bunch of free events for student orgs on campus. So we've DJ'd things for like sororities and fraternities, as well as doing more smaller events. And then we also are putting on Liquorpalooza, which this is our 2nd year doing that. And then we just had a birthday party for our 50th anniversary, which was super cool.
So right now,
oh man,
it is 65 and sunny, according to Google. It is 65 and sunny. Later tonight, it'll dip down into the 40s, but it'll still be aight. We'll be aight, like, it'll be aight, you know? It'll do.
Being on the air has made me a better writer and a better public speaker. Like, I used to be terrified of public speaking, and now I can do a presentation in front of like 50 people, no big deal. Like, I don't break a sweat. Like, I'll get a little nervous, but not as nervous as I was in high school. And then writing-wise, like, it's more planning. I'm better at making lists. I'm better at figuring out what I want to talk about and kind of like organizing my thoughts in a pretty coherent way for other people to understand. I think knowledge-wise, the whale provides a way for people to kind of make mistakes and like kind of learn from that in an environment that encourages it. Because we're online radio, it's not the high stakes of being an FM signal and like making those mistakes on air, which in the long run, we do want to have an FM signal so people will have also that more important outlet. But right now, I think like this is a good space to like kind of learn who you are as a person, have like an hour or 2 a week to kind of focus on your interests and what you want to talk about instead of like homework or whatever. Like, you can have a good time on here and like take away so much. Like, I have radio experience now. I know how to work a board. I know how to work an on-air system, and it gives you the opportunity to work with people you wouldn't actually work, like you wouldn't typically work with. It forces you to work with those people you don't typically work with, which is important because that's how it is in the like out there in like the real job world too. So it's definitely an experience-based learning. There have been some efforts to get a frequency back. It's more so kind of asking school and kind of training people on what FCC guidelines are, which we do follow now, which is super important, is that people already know what those guidelines are. We follow them even though we are only online. The price of an FM signal is quite up there, so it's more so fundraising, saving money, trying to get funding from the school, stuff like that. So it's challenging, but we're getting there. If we had an FM signal, it would be easier for people to listen to us. So instead of having to go to our website or download all these other apps, it would more be like you could listen to us in your car, which would be amazing for students who commute. Or you could just put on the radio when you're studying. You wouldn't have to worry about opening all these other shortcuts to get to us. It would just be you dial in and you're done. So it would be easier for people to be able to listen to us if we had an FM signal for sure.